Hello folks, welcome to the latest edition of the car news. I want to just start by thanking all my new channel members. Channel members get earlier access to some videos. There are free prize draws that are only going to be for channel members, and there'll be some live Q&As where channel members can chat directly in that video. So if you'd like to join, starts at just under £2, link in the video description. On this one today, we are looking mainly at Auto Express and Autocar, and I'm going to get started immediately. Paris Motor Show, all the new cars we're going to see. Now, I'm actually going to Paris Motor Show. At the time you watch this, I think I'll be travelling a week today, Sunday the 13th. And that's largely thanks to a sponsor and one viewer who wants to remain nameless that's helped me out massively with my travel. Huge thanks to that person who doesn't want to be named, but you know who you are, so thank you very much. 𝙼𝙁𝙁𝙄𝙇𝙄𝙼𝙆, I think that's how you say it. Hasn't been confirmed for the UK yet, but that's going to be there. I think that probably will come to the UK. New Alpine A390 concept, Alpine 𝙼𝙁𝙁𝙄𝙇𝙄𝙼𝙎, crazy hypercar kind of thing. New BYD for Europe. This is going to be the Sea Lion 07. So this is already available in China. That's coming to Europe, and we think it's going to come to the UK. Citroen C4 facelift. Dacia Bigster, Leapmotor B10, the new souped up mini John Cooper Works vehicles will be there, petrol and electric. The electric one's going to have 255 brake horsepower. Mobilised Bento and Mobilised Duo, they look bonkers. That looks like a bit of me, to be honest. I like crazy stuff like that. Peugeot E408, Renault 4, Renault 17 electric resto mod. That looks absolutely awesome. I love the look of that thing. VW Tayron, this is going to be their new 7-seat SUV, so that'll be quite interesting. And plenty more besides, no doubt. In fact, there's a couple more mentioned in this video later on, I think. So I will be doing a video from the Paris Motor Show. Please give that some love when it comes out. It costs a lot of money to do these things, and I put loads of effort into the videos, although they don't always look like it. So give that some love when it appears. New vehicle risk ratings replace UK car insurance groups to bring clarity on costs. The car insurance industry has launched new vehicle risk ratings to give fresh light into car insurability and costs. So instead of the old insurance group 1 to 50, not always the biggest driver of what you're actually going to pay for your insurance, and I don't think these new groups will be either, but the risk rating hopefully will be a little bit fairer. Because groupings at the moment are all over the shop. They really are. Thatchem's got to re-rate every car, basically. That's likely to take about 18 months. They've done some already, but the whole thing's likely to take some time. But the 5 core vehicle risk rating assessment factors will be performance. That's vehicle characteristics such as speed, acceleration, and the impact of modern powertrains. Damageability assesses how design, materials, and construction influence repair costs and damage severity. Repairability, focus on the ease and cost of repairs, encouraging repair-friendly vehicle designs. Safety analyzes active and passive safety systems, including crash avoidance features. So that's like your lane keep assist and all that kind of gubbins. Security examines physical and digital security measures, leveraging Thatchem Research's new vehicle security assessment expertise. So that all sounds really quite sensible, and I think a sort of overhaul of insurance groups is well overdue. It needs to make more sense for the world in which we live now. You know, insurance groupings have been around for a long time. Nowadays, the supply chain is difficult with a lot of cars, with a lot of manufacturers, and particularly we've got new entrants coming to the market all the time, and they need to get their supply chain in order just as well as some of the legacy brands who have been woefully slow with their own supply chains in recent times. And that needs to translate into insurance costs. I love the fact as well they're looking into the ease of repair for cars, because if cars are massively complex to repair, that's going to cost a lot more money in labour. And it seems much fairer that if your car is really easy to repair, if it's involved in an accident, you pay a bit less for your insurance. So that'll be interesting to see how it pans out. It's official, motorways are the safest type of road. The number of deaths on UK highways fell by 5% in 2023, with motorways statistically the safest type of road travel. That's good to see. Now let's hope they fix all the potholes on them and that people start using all 3 lanes instead of just the middle one. Those things on the side, those reflective things on the side of your car as well, they're useful on a motorway. They're called mirrors. Shock as data shows 1/3 of drivers think car theft is decriminalised in the UK. New figures from Nextbase show that car thefts have doubled in a decade, but conviction rates remain incredibly low. In a survey of 2,000 drivers about car theft, 31% of respondents said they believe car crime has essentially been decriminalised due to the lack of effective response from the police. I completely agree with that. I've heard all sorts of stories. People are always writing to me, sending me messages, telling me stories about how someone stole their vehicle or stole from their vehicle. They've got them on a camera. Police often seem to know who it is, but are not really interested, and nothing happens and it just goes away. It's a shocking state of affairs. And I think it's very easy for you to be treated like a criminal if you creep over the speed limit, but very difficult for actual criminals to come to justice, it seems, and it's sad. October energy price cap makes charging an EV 10% more expensive. The average driver will now pay roughly £1.30 more to charge their car at home, or as much as an extra 27 quid a year. The energy price cap being lifted is quite a big deal to me, and to everyone, I guess, because it means you're going to have to pay more for your electricity at home. But the cost of charging my 2 electric cars is not really bothering me, because if it ends up costing me an extra 50 quid a year to keep 2 cars on the road, that's going to hurt far less than whatever they do with fuel duty. So I'm not too bothered about the effect it has on me from a motoring point of view. I'm more worried about it from a working from home point of view, because it's going to cost me a lot more money that way. So EV owners out there, what are your thoughts on this? Are you bothered about it or not? Renew calls for government action on unfair hospital parking prices. Last year, NHS car parks raked in over 145 million in hospital parking fees, with some locations charging as much as 7 quid for 2 hours of parking. This 145 million that's been gathered, is it ring-fenced for use, clinical use in hospitals? I don't think it probably is. I think it probably helps to go to pay some of the business analysts and consultants that the NHS gets in to change things for the sake of it, and probably next to none of it goes to anything clinical. And I agree with something a politician said. I know that seems unlikely. Lib Dem's Health and Social Care spokesperson Helen Morgan MP said hospital car parking fees have become a tax on care, with visitors and hard-working staff having to pay through the nose just to visit a loved one or provide life-saving care. I completely agree with that. I think it's all a bit of a nonsense. How staff don't get free parking is beyond me. It seems bonkers. New Skoda Elroq arrives as the Enyaq's smaller EV brother. Lots of important people in the industry have just been invited over to Czech for the launch of that. I wasn't, so go and watch some of their coverage on it. Mini to offer fully recyclable interiors within a generation. Recyclability will form an integral part of Mini design as it looks to make its cars more sustainable. I think this is a big thing right across BMW Group at the moment, is making the cars much more recyclable. I think that's absolutely brilliant. I hope other manufacturers take note and follow suit. A bold new Kia PV5 MPV to rival Volkswagen ID Buzz and target Uber drivers. Kia's commercial vehicle venture will spawn a series of electric passenger vans, and our exclusive image previews how the PV5 MPV could look. It's another one of those Auto Express things where they make up a picture, so we don't know if it's going to look anything like that, but they've decided it might. And I'd agree, it might, but it might not. We know Kia's gearing up to launch a load of electric commercial vehicles, which I think could be massive for them, because very few electric vans out there have really hit the nail on the head at the moment. And if there's a company and a group that knows how to hit the nail on the head at the moment, it seems to be Kia Hyundai Group, because they've got some amazing cars, and I think they could transfer that into the van market. There's a heavily disguised version of the vehicle by the looks of it. They're talking about 10 to 80% battery in less than 30 minutes, fast charging 150 kilowatts, which would suggest it will use a 400 volt electrical system like those one found in the EV3, rather than the more advanced 800 volt that you get in the EV6 and the EV9. That's a bit of a shame, but perhaps it's all it needs. I don't know. I'm really interested to see these new Kia electric vans, and we'll watch that one with some interest. New Caterham Project V, all electric sports car to get Yamaha power. This thing looks pretty cool, does it not? Let's have a look. Oh, hello. Looks very, very classic sports car, but obviously it's going to be electric, so not entirely classic. It's going to use Yamaha's lightweight 𝙃𝙁𝙁𝙁 technology, and a prototype's already in development with Tokyo R&D. They're a specialist engineering house with a target for completion of mid-2025. They're going to focus on making this as lightweight as possible to hopefully keep sort of catering purists at bay, because this is going to ruffle a few feathers, I'm sure. But that looks like a very interesting car. By the way, folks, I will be at the Everything Electric show in Farnborough on Friday the 11th, I believe it is, of October. So if you're there and you see me, come over and say hello. China's BYD plans to become a European manufacturer in 2025. Firm's new European advisor tells Autocar impacts from tariffs are temporary. This is obviously in response to those European tariffs on electric cars made in China, or cars in general made in China. So BYD will actually start manufacturing vehicles in Europe somewhere. They've taken on a former fairly high up from Fiat, who's going to help them to set up that manufacturing plant by the looks of things. So interesting times. I wonder how many more Chinese manufacturers might look to do the same. Ford boss Lisa Brankin says halve the VAT on electric cars or miss the 2030 EV target. She says car makers can comply with the UK zero emissions mandate only if EV purchase incentives return. My argument is always the same on this. You could choose to lower your prices a bit because you've got a very, very fat margin at the moment, and you could make better and more interesting cars. I think Ford needs to get back to its roots. It used to be an everyman brand. You know, it used to be the cheap car to get was go and get a Ford. We don't have an electric vehicle replacement for the Fiesta, for example, which I can imagine being a huge hit if they did it correctly. All they seem to be giving us are these mid-size, boring SUVs. Apart from the Explorer, because I think that looks quite cool, but I haven't driven one yet. So yeah, instead of pointing your finger everywhere else, Ford, have a look in-house maybe. Renault shows first images of Reborn 4, more versatile sibling of the Renault 5 electric hatchback, will be revealed at the Paris Motor Show. This looks very cool. If it's anything like as good as that Renault 5, I'm going to be a very excited man over in Paris, because that Renault 5 looks amazing, and this looks pretty great as well from these few little clips of images. And McLaren confirms W1 name for the F1 P1 successor. So McLaren famously has had the F1, the P1. They're always the absolute spiciest versions of their cars. They're now working on a W1, and it's going to stick with hybrid power. That's set to be revealed on the 6th of October, so you should be seeing something about that very, very soon. Thanks for watching this one, folks. I've just blasted through it a bit this week because I've got lots going on, but I hope you've enjoyed it nonetheless. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Lots of people that watch these news videos are not subscribed. It only takes a second and it helps me out. Thanks again to all the channel members. If you do want to join, there's a link below. And please give it a thumbs up. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one. Huge thanks to all my channel members for your continued support. I really do appreciate it.